Hello, our group's category is Spanish transportation, tourism, and entertainment. We will be focusing on transportation. Our chosen company is Renfe Operadora, a state owned railway company. Our specific product is a specially designed 600-meter car train transport that Renfe has developed to ship fully assembled automobiles from manufacturing plants to seaports for export. The product opens Renfe up to other streams of income aside from traditional passengers and hauling. It also positions Renfe to act as a complementary service to one of Spain's largest export industries, and it will increase revenue and efficiency for both parties. Now, off to Anmol to give a little more detail.
Renfe's 600-meter finished vehicle rail service supports Spain's automotive exports to Germany and France, which are the country's two largest automotive export markets. The purpose of this service is to transport finished vehicles from Renault's Palencia plant to the port of Santander, where they are shipped to EU destination markets. Germany and France are strategically important because they're geographically close, deeply integrated within the EU single market, and maintain strong automotive demand. Their existing supply chain relationships with Spanish manufacturers make them natural export destinations. By increasing inland rail capacity by approximately 15%, Renfe improves export efficiency, reduces per unit logistics cost, and strengthens Spain's competitiveness in the European automotive trade network.
So when we look at our main competitor, DB Cargo, the key difference is not about who has longer trains or a bigger network. DB Cargo competes on a pan-European scale. They operate long-haul freight corridors across Central Europe, sometimes up to 740 meters in length. So their strength is cross-border inland distribution. But Renfe's strategy is different. We focus specifically on Spain's automotive export chain. Our 600-meter configuration improves capacity within Spain's infrastructure limits, increasing efficiency about 15% compared to traditional domestic freight. And more importantly, we integrate directly with the port of Santander, so the logistics flow is factory to rail to port to sea, a seamless export model. So instead of competing on network size, Rafa competes on export chain integration and Spain-specific operational optimization, especially for short-haul exports to German and France and domestic. So this is our core differentiation.
So for our primary target market, we're looking at automobile manufacturers in Spain who are exporting vehicles to EU markets. We want to start off with an initial focus on Renault's Palencia manufacturing plant, which produces finished vehicles for export. And then we want companies that require kind of this high volume transportation from inland manufacturing plants to export ports. We're also looking at firms seeking lower logistics costs and faster transit times and reliable transport capacity. From what my colleague mentioned, because of that 15% increase, we're looking at these markets that can totally scale their business. Alongside that, again, manufacturers that would benefit from economies of scale through that higher capacity, notably that 15% rail transport. Other automotive manufacturers who are operating production plants in Spain, this would be part of our secondary target market. Automotive logistics providers and third-party vehicle transport companies, maybe exporters that move kind of large quantities of finished vehicles to European markets, and then firms looking to optimize supply chain efficiency and maybe reduce highway transportation congestion. This would be part of our secondary target market. As far as our geographic target market goes, we're looking at the Renault Palencia plant to kind of like the port of Santander as our primary corridor. Basically, this export region includes the European Union markets receiving Spanish automobile exports. And then, key characteristics of this market include a strong EU single market integration, high automotive demand, shorter transit distances compared to global exports, and well-developed automotive supply chain networks. And then in terms of distribution, we're looking at this rail transport route. We're looking at a Palencia manufacturing plant to the port of Santander. We're looking at maritime distribution with vehicles exported from Santander to EU markets. And we're also looking at integration with existing EU automotive distribution networks and dealerships as places of distribution.
Renfe's Finnish automobile rail service is a B2B logistics solution supporting Spain's automotive export sector. The product consists of specialized vehicle rail wagon that connects manufacturing facilities directly to major export ports such as Barcelona and Valencia. Pricing is contract based and negotiated with automotive manufacturers, offering volume discounts and long term agreements that provide cost advantages over road freight at scale. Promotion is relationship driven, targeting OEM manufacturers and export focused production hubs through direct sales and sustainability positioning. Rail transport provides a lower carbon alternative aligned with EU Green Deal objectives. Given that automobiles are among Spain's top exports, particularly to France and Germany. This service strengthens Spain's competitive export infrastructure while differentiating Renfe through reliability, scale, and environmental efficiency.
Now, regulatory strategy. Renfe operates within a regulatory framework shaped by both Spain and the European Union. At the EU level, rail policy promotes interoperability across member states. This makes cross border freight movement easier and supports a more integrated European rail market. In Spain, rail infrastructure is managed by ADIF. Track access charges set by ADIF are a core operating cost for all rail operators, including Renfe, and they directly influence freight pricing and profitability. The EU's climate policy also plays an important role. Rail is promoted as a lower emission alternative to road freight, so EU decarbonization goals increasingly favor rail based logistics. These regulations translate into four business implications for Renfe's automotive rail service. First, the EU single market makes it easier to move freight into major export markets like France and Germany. Second, ADIF infrastructure charges are a fixed cost that Renfe must manage carefully to keep its freight services competitive. Third, rail's lower carbon footprint gives Renfe a strategic advantage as EU climate regulations tighten across the logistics sector. Finally, Renfe plays a direct role in Spain's automotive export supply chain. One example is the 600-meter rail service connecting Renault's Palencia plant to the port of Santander, which moves finished vehicles efficiently to international markets. Overall, the regulatory environment creates both constraints and opportunities. Infrastructure access charges increase operating costs, but EU integration and sustainability policy support long term growth in rail freight.